Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Today we are doing some cool stuff. Today we are going to be doing some 3D modeling and hopefully some blueprint stuff. So, excuse me, I have Zavi with me and they are researching on how we can rotate easily the shooter in the game. In the meantime, while they're doing that, I'm going to be showing you guys some 3D modeling stuff. So,
and before you get started on that, are you sure that you're live?
yes, I am sure I'm live.
Are you sure it's publicly shown and not on? Is right
Let
now.
me double check that. Give me one moment. Here. And live. Change that. Public. Publish. There we go. Yeah, it was once again set. Okay. Now that I got that set.
Now I see it.
Yeah. I gotta remember to keep an eye on that. For some reason, I have that set to unpublic, to unlisted. I don't know why it keeps putting it to that, but it is now live. So with that being said, as you just heard Zavi, always check out my stream, which is a good thing. Always good to have that back up there. But they're looking up how to do the rotation of the shooter and for the blueprints in Unreal. And while they're doing that, I'm going to do a 3D model for the course piece that we need. So first things first, I want to do a few things to show you some tools that are going to make my life a lot easier in doing this. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go up here, I'm going to turn snapping on. Then I'm going to go over to snapping. I'm going to do 2 grid. So that's set up there. The next thing I want to do is I want to hit tab, I want to go into edit mode. In edit mode, I want to go to here. I want to show edge lengths. This will let me know the distances I have on everything. Another thing I can do is I can hit in and I get this up here, and I need that up there. And so I want to go ahead. I want to take these verts here only. I'm going to adjust them so that we can move these down on the y-axis. Come on. I don't want 1. Go on the y-axis. Let's undo that. Happens. Yep. That is the one we want. Native. Two. Change that again. We're going the wrong way. Go down and do 8. That's the direction I want this to be. Okay. Then take, I want to go here to this. I see all of it. Get all of that. You want this be 15. Nope, that's just moving it. Let's take these. 1 meter. Let's go 15. 15 that way. Take these. I'm going to go negative. Wait, not plus sign. No, that's the negative. 15. So then I want to take these verts here. I want to go negative 13. Enter. Take these verts here. I want to go 13. Enter. Now, you may be asking why I did 13 on those sides. And there's a reason for that. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go to faces. I'm going to click on this dot here. And I'm going to do an extrude. I'll go by 1 unit. Like so. I'm going to click on this one here. Once again, 1 unit. So now, when we look at this, it is a perfect square. And that's what we want. But we're not done yet. I want to click on this face here, make sure I have the top one. I want to go up 1 unit. But what I could actually do is hold shift, click here. Oh, I got the bottom one. Don't want the bottom one. Let's go to solid model. Click here. If I go up 1 unit, make sure that those are feet square. Redo that. Going up by the Z. 1.2. Nope. Okay. So let's move that up like so. Let's go like this, this. That's the area I want. Here. Here to verts. Which is wireframe. Got all those. We're at the 0. Going up 1. So that's the Z. Go 0.2. There we go. Now we got them fully up by what I'm wanting. So we have all of that done, right? But for what I'm wanting to do, if I go so, doesn't look, that looks better. Okay. We got all of that. I'm going to go edges. I want these edges right here. I want loop cuts. And go here. Click there. Click on this. I want this to be 13. The reason I want that to be 13 is I want 1 meter distance between each one. I've done that. Hit enter. Let's go here. Click there. That is not going to be 13. That is actually going to be 11. So, why? Something looks off. Go. There we go. Put 0 on that. Oof, not one line. Okay. Let's do solid. Faces. As you can see, there's a lot of faces to this. All right. I don't like. Okay, so I got all of that. Good there. I do want to get rid of the light and the camera are going to get deleted. Do not need them. Now that I got that, I want to go ahead, go to select mode. I want edges. I want to select following edges. Select this edge. Zoom in here. There we go. So we got that edge. Right click. I want to go to mark seam. What I'm doing now is I am adding in the seams that I need for creating this whole entire UV map situation. That one, okay, good. Go ahead and mark seam. Something still feels off here. Those are not thick enough. Let me go to Hertz here. Hertz. That out. And go to the move tool. One up. Take these verts. There we go. Now, these come up to here. Let's add that over 0.2. No. Let's take out that 0.2. Now we're going to take out that point. And leave it 1. Good there. We're going to go back to edges. Solid look. I want to go here. And I want to go select only. Here. Right click. Mark that edge there. And the reason I'm marking this whole entire top piece out is for the pure simple fact that this top piece is going to be the fairway. It's going to have grass. So I want that piece to be separate from everything else. So that way, when I texture, I know what I'm needing. Next, I'm going to click here. I'll hold shift. I'm going to click here, 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 in here, here. Actually, add that in. Here, no, not that one. Here. So that's all selected. Make sure I got it. I do. Go right click, mark seam. That looks really, really good. Now I just need to rotate to the other side and do the same thing. On this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge. Hold down that, get to that. Rotate over to here. Want this edge, and this edge. I'm holding down shift as I'm selecting all of these. One more edge, that edge there. I got all of those there. I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna mark seam. Let me undo those. Because those aren't turning blue. Okay. Actually, let's shift that edge, that edge, that edge, alt this edge. Make sure I got that edge there. I did. Oh, not that edge. This edge, this edge, this edge, this edge. Oh, mark sharp. No, I didn't want mark sharp. I want mark seam. I was clicking mark sharp. That was the problem. This edge, we'll click here. Add in this edge, 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 this edge. Right click, mark seam. So we are going to get a really nice UV map. Now we have all of that. I'm going to click here. I'm just going to hit A. And by hitting A, I am selecting all of the faces. So now that I have all of the faces, I can click UV map A. That. Zoom in here. Looks good. With this. Okay. Let's go ahead. We're going to go back to layers. Go back to mulling. UV. UV map unwrap. Now let's check this out. There we go. All nice and done and clean. Difference is I forgot to do something. Let's go back to mulling. UV map unwrap. I want to click here. We want this to be at 0.2. Enter. There we go. We have better spacing. Just because I am picky, take this, I'll rotate this around. so. So we have all of that done. That is nicely UV mapped. So this is the grass. This is the wood. I'm going to do one other change though, just to make my life easier when I'm doing the UV mappings and the way I would like it. I want to take all these. I want to rotate them. So, good clean angles, I do. Yep, that looks good. And then I want to take this, up to here. Give it some space. First, I'm going to move this up like so. Take these, let's say here. Then I want to take this down to here. So the reason I did this is for the pure simple fact of, once again, this is going to be the grass texture. This is where I'm going to be putting the grass texture on. This is going to be the wood along with this. The reason I rotate it this way is the wood grain is going to be going this direction. And because it's going vertically instead of horizontally, I wanted to adjust and get that right. Rotation of that feels a bit off. We're going to rotate. Nope. Control Z. That looks right to me. That looks better. So with that all said and done, I got this model complete. Now, you may be asking, why did I create, actually, if we go into modeling, why did I create this one with all of this extra vertices? 3D modeler might be sitting there going, wait a second, you got way too many faces in there. The reason I've done this is in Unreal, you can take this model and you can have it follow a spline. Okay? And it's basically just an invisible path that this will follow. And if you curve that spline to where it has like a curve in a road where the road curves, and let's say this was a road, what would end up happening is it wouldn't be able to bend the model correctly. So by having these extra edges in here, this whole entire model will be able to flex and bend. So it'll be able to go up and over hills and things like that. It's really going to add some really cool stuff. So with that all being said, I'm going to go ahead and go File. I'm going to do a Save As. And I'm going to name this, let's do, where's floor? Let's just call it floor. We'll do a save. We've replaced the floor that we made, but I'm not done yet. I now need to go to File, Export, FBX. I'm going to keep it as floor FBX. But before I do that, we need to do one more thing. We got to change the name of the model. So let's go ahead and we're going to do a file save. There we go. So that gets that adjustment. Then we want to go to FBX. And there's some things that we want to turn off. Limit to selected object. So just the object I have selected. So if I still had like the camera and the light in there, by selecting just the selected objects and putting a check mark in there, it's only going to create the FBX file for the object selected. So you won't get the cameras or any extra piece. So you could have like a character model, and let's say you're making a weapon for that character model, a sword or a gun, and you have that character model in there to get the sword and or gun to the right size. By selecting model only, you could have that gun or sword selected, and it's only going to create the FBX file for the object selected, which will save you a lot. Okay, and then we need to go to geometry because we're doing Unreal. Make this to edge. Okay, applied modifiers selected. Armatures. We do not have any bone leaves. There are no bones in this, so I'm unselecting that. We do not have any animations, so I can unselect animations. We got all of that done. Okay. So with all that done, I'm going to go ahead and click the export button. I have now created an FBX. And with that FBX, I can go into here, go here, and I have the one for the course field. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and let's just drag in the model. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go into here. I have my game design. And we're going to go into marble golf. I want to go into art, models. I want to look for floor. So there's the floor FBX. Notice the date there. It says 2014. It has today's date. That's what we want. Take this. I want to click on this. We're going to I want to remove this. So property, delete. Force delete. There we go. Right click. Find that delete. Force delete. Right click. Delete. Force delete. I'm just deleting everything in here. Delete. Delete. Cleaning things up. Then I go over to here, find the floor.fbx. I want to drag it into here. Let's see. Everything looks good. Transforms. Import. There it is. So we now have this model. It's now auto saving. And if I pull this model in, boom, it's up. There's the model. Nicely done, nicely set up. You do not see those edges that I created in there. Now what we need to do is we need to create I need to access the landscape modifier, because in landscape is where they have everything. But look at that. That looks really, really good. Now I cannot throw in the texture on this because let's grab this, get around, move over, move this up, now rotate around, move over, back some, over like so, over, zoom in here, rotate around, drop down some, this down, so we're gonna move in even closer. See, it's a bit dipped into the ground. That's about as good as we're gonna get. But that looks really, really good. So we got all of that. Now what I do want to do, I want to go in here. I want to collision, or no, show simple collision. Yeesh. That is not the type of collision we want. And here's the reason being. With this type of collision, how's it going to roll on the floor? It would be hovering in the sky. That's not good. Let's turn off simple collision. What's complex collision look like? That's complex collision. That's what we want to do. Collision. Is what we want. Let's see here. Find detail settings, collision. Let's see here with our collision. Yeah, all looks good. Nope, not what we want. That's what we want right there. So you notice I went into collisions. I said use collision as simple collision, which gave us this collision. So now when it collides, it'll work. And the reason I want to use complex collision is because of that bend that we have. Each piece is going to be different. So this is the one piece where we need to have that complex collision in there. But that is done. Now the ball is not going to be floating in midair as it rolls along. It will actually roll along here. And what's really great is if we have an end spot where it stops, great. But we do have some other pieces that we need to make. And we will work on, because we need to have a piece that would fit right here to do sort of like an end stop. And so we will work on that. Overall, that looks good. So let's go ahead and save. There we go. And as you notice in the camera, look at the view of that. That looks really, really good. I really like how this is turning out. Here. Okay, so collection. Let's see, where is it? Nope, 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 nope. I am looking for landscape mode. Dang it. Double check I'm doing this. Ah, wrong thing. Let's see. Let's find. Or try manage. There it is. Hey, give me a moment. Still getting used to the interface for Unreal. The last time I touched Unreal was, oh god, what was it? 2009, 2010 that we touched Unreal?
Something like, I mean, I think the last time was basically as part of that one level design course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we either level designs or we also touched it in our physics class. Because in the physics class, we used the Unreal Engine too.
Yeah, and I think those were probably in the same year.
Yeah. So, yeah, the reason I remember the physics one so vividly was because I didn't do really well in the written physics. I mean, I barely passed the written physics, unlike some people who will not be mentioned. And when I did the implementing physics in Unreal, I aced that. So I can implement physics really good in Unreal because, well, game physics is different than real life physics in a way. And the reason it's different in a way is if the physics are not fun in real life for a game, they will tweak the physics to what's more enjoyable and what's more fun for players. So you may not always see realistic physics, and you don't always want realistic physics in your game. If it's more entertaining and more enjoyable to have not realistic physics, then use those not realistic physics. Pure and simple. So the next thing I need to do here. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to take, oh, hold on. Okay, so let's take this. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to delete that. We're going to go back into landscape mode. I want splines. Then the next step, okay, so we're going to go control left click. There it is. So there's that. And in this spline I just made, let's find the spline. Just made. Landscape, landscape, landscape. Where's the spline? That's what I'm needing. And we want to use the floor. Look at that. How cool is that? And then what we can do, pour this back down. A good height here. Maybe bring it up just a tad. That should be good. Rotate it around. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so we have that starting point using our spline. And so everything, we want to keep the mesh scale all the same. Yes, we want casting shadows. What about advanced? Anything in here? Nope. So that's all looking good. Now, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to hold Alt. We're going to... Okay, let's undo that. Alt, drag in one direction. So, continue dragging. And we're going to go ahead and I want to switch this to rotation. Where is my controls for rotating? It's switching to rotation. Ah, right up there. Rotate. I want to rotate this to that. Let's undo that because for some reason, rotate like that. We're going to go ahead and go back to the move. To grab here, hold Alt, pull out like that. Voila. Let's click play. Do it. Stop. It should have done that. We got our spline. And our model. There's the spline. spline, floor. Why is that not? That spline is floor. That spline be floor. So that spline floor. Why didn't it bend it? It should have bent it. Let's figure out what's going on here. Maybe it's under physics. General. Rendering. Let's try. Oh, so that's all texture stuff. The mesh floor. Yeah. The mesh. The shadows. Not that. Okay. Let me see what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing wrong. Clear that. Let's click on the mesh. Okay, so let's see. Mesh. Here. Where is... Okay, so there's that. There he is. Looking for it. Where's the mesh? Escape spline meshes. Okay, add new element. There we go. That was the problem. I was doing it on the icon of the node and not actually on the mesh for the spline. That's where I made my mistake. So as you can see here, this looks really, really good. This looks cool. Great thing is if I click here, click on move, and we go here, I hold Alt, pull it out, move it like that, and let's do a rotate. Rotate it like so. See how it rotates? And here's the great thing. I also rotate it this way. Let's say I go here. I'll hold Alt, pull out. Right. So then I do a rotate. Let's rotate like that. Let's do a move. This up. So look at that. We just created a ramp.
That is looking pretty cool.
Is that not awesome? And what I really like is, let's go back to this turn here. Look at how smooth that turn looks.
Yeah, back in UD with the preset pieces, it was, okay, either you get a hard angle with a corner on it, or actually that's basically all that we had. We didn't even have curved pieces yet.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen if I were to do... So let me go ahead and I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go
you
here.
Should be able to do a hard angle if it's got any decent spline controls.
Okay, let's undo that. So rotate like that. Like that. That's about as best as we can do. We cannot do any hard angles. So we'll actually have to we'll have to figure that out.
All right.
Because I do want ones with hard angles.
Mm-hmm. And they provide a special sort of challenge on it that curved pieces don't.
Yeah.
With the curved piece, theoretically, if you drop it in right at the very start of that outer curve, it should just ride the wall all the way down.
Yeah. Let's take this one. Let's move it out more. So, do this. Rotate it like this. Go here. Oh. Yeah, if you do something like that, try to do a hard angle, that's what happens. This. So that. rotate. So, move. So that does that. This, pull out like that. Do another rotate. Rotate like that. Do a move. This out like that. There. Do another rotate. Hit that. There. This out. Yeah. Let me back up here. Okay, so let's take this one here. Drag out to here. Here. Move. Nope. Undo. Rotate around. That's the one I want. Come to there. Rotate. That's gonna meet up. This. And then to there. But this one, rotate. Wrong one. Let's move. Move. Out. There. I want to take this one here. Move it. And good enough. Now, what happens if I click play? Oh, that's right. We don't have the camera fully hooked up. Let's go to here. Select this. Play. Let's escape it. Escape. Rotate around. Right behind it. There we go. We're going to play. Look at that. So we may have to make some custom pieces to go between the splines. But that's okay. We can do that. We can create harsh corners and just have the splines connect up with each one. Overall, I really like this. Yes, there's some errors here, so we have to be careful on how we're cornering things. So we can't do a sharp corner like this because that's going to mess with things. But we can do things like this. And like this right here looks good. For the most part. There is some limitations to it, and that is okay. We could literally add in, if we wanted, more edges. What do you think, Zabby? You think we should add more edges to this model and see what happens?
Yep, I mean, worst case scenario, it becomes a teaching experience.
Yep, because if we go to here, right now, I mean, this model is very, very basic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I can tell one thing that our modeling teacher would actually say right off the bat there.
Mm-hmm.
Camp for those corners.
Yeah. Yep.
And for those not familiar with the term, basically you see where you've got that harsh corner there where it's just the line, the straight square, like kind of like what you would expect to see in like a decent piece of carpentry, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What chamfering does is it takes that corner, splits it, and then pushes it back with a new face at an angle between them on there.
Yeah, and
so the more that you do that, the better it catches the light. So it's a lot better for being able to get shading on it.
Exactly. And Zabby makes a good point. Chamfering. Chamfering, for those of you that use Blender, is beveling. Chamfering is the term used in 3ds Max, which is what Zabby is used to. It's the only thing I think you've 3D modeled in. And pretty much
sure, yeah.
In pretty much every other 3D modeling program, it's what is it?
It's just a bevel.
Yeah, it's called bevel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break to get up and stretch, and then I think we'll model out a floor point 2 or floor number 2, and let's double up the edges.
So if you want to take a brief break from modeling when you get back, I found out where I was going wrong initially.
So you fixed the problem?
Yep, I can now make it rotate. And it's a really simple thing on there.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen. We're going to take a break because I'm tired of left clicking and the shooter just going crazy. I want to fix that problem so badly. I think in this stream we are greatly enhancing the game. I mean, heck, just now with what I've done, we're one step up in what we're capable to do in level designs with that tweak that I just did.
Mm-hmm. And there may have been something that we could have done like that with in Unity on there, but it wasn't a native feature at all.
Yeah, it's not a native feature.
It's something that find a plugin for it.
Yeah, there will have had to been some coding done. And yes, in Unreal, you can do a coding version of that. But I looked at it, I'm like, well, wait, if it's coded into the game engine itself, why would you code again that functionality?
Apparently, the answer to that is ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm researching this. I'm like, oh, this is a cool idea. How can I do this? Is it possible to do this in Unreal? And so I researched into that, and I looked into it, and a lot of the videos I was saying was like, oh, go into landscape, do this, and I saw the one video, he's like, oh, let's build a blueprint to be able to do this. I'm like, wait a second, why would you build a blueprint if it's natively in the game engine? It's like building the game within itself just to do a load and save functionality. I believe that was what happened with that coder, right?
It was the UI.
Oh, UI.
The entire game object was being passed back through to itself rather than using the actual hooks into like all the game state objects.
Yeah. So a coder that we brought on was literally taking the whole entire gameplay mechanics and code and rewriting it through the UI to get the UI to work. as soon as Zabby told me about that, I'm like, wait, what? No! And I'm not much of a coder. And even I knew that was wrong. So wrong. So, here's the plan. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. I will go ahead and get my stretches done so I feel a little bit more comfortable. We will get into getting the rotation for the shooter put in. And then, well, Zabby's working on the next part, which I think is we're going to work on the being able to adjust the impulse of the marble being shot, correct?
Yeah, we can do that, though. I'm thinking maybe now that rotation is working sanely, the next step would be I'd be able to get the view to look through the camera correctly.
Yes.
So that you can actually aim. And then after that, then we'll start on the UI with the power adjuster.
I 100% agree with you. And this is where working with someone else can make things a lot easier because they can point out areas and routes that's better to go and work on functionality than you realized. Just like Zabby pointed out to me, it's better that we hook up the camera to the rotation and to the object than going in and doing the impulse. The impulse we can do later. Now, when you're talking hooking the camera to, we're just hooking the camera to the shooter and for rotation. We're not having it follow the ball yet, right?
Yeah, right now it's basically so that you can look down the shooter and you can aim while you're rotating.
Okay.
And half of that's already done because we've already got the camera parent. It's already a child of the shooter, so it'll inherit the rotation coming from it.
Yeah.
Should keep the same position, all that. It's just getting our system to actually use the camera that is being annoying.
Exactly. All right. Well, we will be back in just a few. Okay, we are back. So everyone's done what they needed to do to get ready for this next part. So I know I need to go into objects. I need to go into the shooter, right?
Yep. Though, okay, there it goes. Stream has just had big delay on that.
Yeah, well, I'm running Unreal, I'm running Blender, I'm running OBS.
Technically, he's broadcasting your screen out twice.
Yeah. So there's going to be maybe just a slight delay for you.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm going to open up the blueprint, right?
Yep.
Okay. So getting the blueprint. Okay, so we are in the blueprint here.
Yep. So the fundamental issue here is effectively I outsmarted myself, which happens a bit too often, but you wind up getting used to it.
Oh, yeah.
So the main thing there is, you see where you've got that make rotation from Z?
Make rotation from Z.
Yeah, up in the top part.
Okay, make rotation from Z. Yep.
Yeah. So that little, so the mouse X, that part's good.
Mm-hmm.
The converter there, we actually won't need, so you can delete that.
So
And the
this
make
one?
rotation from Z itself, delete that.
So make rotation from Z.
Yep.
I can delete this. And then it's delete this.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to convert double into a vector.
Okay.
So instead, what we're going to add is make rotator.
So make row.
Yeah, you see the one at the bottom there, just above vector?
Yep, right here.
Yep.
Okay, make rotator.
All right, so now link the value over to the Z yaw. Yeah, axis value over to Z.
Okay, access value over to Z.
Yep. And we'll probably, instead of doing a world rotation, because if we do a world rotation, this is going to mean that the shooter must be perfectly level no matter where it is. Whereas
we don't want
I assume I mean, just in case like we do something weird where it's not as straight up and down, like maybe there is a level with a gravity shift on or something and it's mounted on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So instead of world rotation, we want to instead use add actor local rotation.
So get rid of this add actor world rotation.
Yep.
So right click, add actor. Okay, it was add actor what?
Local rotation.
Local rotation. I see it. Right there.
Yep.
And so we just take this, plug that into there like it was before.
Yep. Then take the return value from make rotator and plug that into delta rotation.
Like so.
Yep. Go ahead, compile and save this.
Okay, let me something's just driving me nuts here. Okay, so let's compile.
Yep.
And save.
Yep.
Okay. And so exit out of this.
Yeah, close it, minimize it, either way.
I'm going to close it and then click play.
Yep.
Okay, first, before I click play.
Yeah, get your camera in a good spot to see it.
Yeah. I'm working on it. Good enough. Okay.
And hammer that spacebar. Watch him fly.
Nope.
Or mouse pick, whatever you. I had mine set to space. You have yours set to mouse.
Yep. There you go. So we rotate this way.
Yeah, it's just simply the wrong function.
Yep. Fixed.
Yeah.
We're going to click save again. Oh.
You do not want to see the mess of debug text that I put together to get over to that point. It was absolutely horrible. Over on mine, I actually have a couple other things out there where basically I was adjusting the speed that I was rotating at, but one actually turns out to be fairly decent on it here. So you just leave that as the base value.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and if you need to adjust sensitivity, because maybe there will be people that want it faster or slower than that, that is a dead easy thing to add in, which can easily wait till later.
That would be, in all honesty, I think that would be a good thing to add into the options.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why. People with disabilities, they can adjust that for their disabilities, whether it be eyes, cerebral palsy, whatever. I think by adding in things that make it easier for people with disabilities is really good. And that's what I like about the controls that we have for the game set up. It's all by mouse.
Yep, and once we get a proper kind of input layer put into play on this, then assuming that Unreal will be able to support it, which it should because it's a fairly major engine, you can, with a good input controller, you can theoretically plug any device into it.
Yes.
So if you really wanted to, you could hook it up to eye trackers.
Oh, yeah.
And you look left, look right, and it could rotate that way on there.
Yeah, and that'd be great. Of course, you're going to have to test that out. If we were to do something like that, you would have to test that out. Because if I do that, it's going to be looking left, looking right, looking left, looking right, looking left, looking right. It's never going to stay steady because of my nystagmatism. So someone else has to test that. Now, granted, there's times where my nystagmatism has served me well. And that was when we were game testers. And there were two times I remember it serving me very well. One is I was always catching graphical bugs very easily. Because I would just relax my eyes, let my eyes jump around. Oh, wait, there's something there. And my test partner would go, how'd you see that? And I said, my eyes jump around. He's like, oh, so what I'm forcing my eyes to do, just look everywhere at random times, you naturally do. I said, yep. He goes, well, there's a bonus to your disability. And then when he went and was testing 3D TVs for one of the games, he knew that I would get really bad migraine or headaches from watching 3D TVs. And so he would go through, test, and okay, the 3D looks good on this. Let me call over Controlled Chaos, have him look at and see how well he can play it. We actually got the game into such a great point that I could play for hours and hours and hours on end without my eyes just causing migraines. And as soon as he got to that point, he's like, considered fixed. Do not touch.
Yeah.
And people actually loved the 3D on the 3D TVs.
Yeah, and especially when that was fairly fresh tech for that game when we were working on it there too.
It was.
The fine tuning on that, there were no, just do this and like 90% of people will like it. It's going to be rough unless you do everything exactly right. So
yep. So, there's things like that. So let's see. Next, we're working on getting the camera connected to the shooter.
Yeah, that's going to be another big chunk of research for me on there. So you were talking about doing some more modeling work. So
so what I was talking about
back to that now
is if I go back
into the mist for a bit.
And the easiest way to do this is I'm just going to go ahead and go File, New, General, don't save. Once again, for my sanity, I'm going to delete these two objects. Once again, I want to turn this on. I want to go here. Snap to grid. We're good there. I want to go click on the object, go into this view. I want to go here. Edge length and heights. We got that set up. This. Let's hit in. Bring that up. Okay, so Z is at 1 millimeter. Let's put 0.2 millimeters. It looks one. Let's do something different. Let's undo that. Go move. Point one. That's not it. 0.02. That's right, it was 0.08. We got that thickness there. Now, take this, rotate. So, let's take this. That's -1. Let's go -15. Or no, it's -13. This is 13. Go out to here, like so. These, we're going to go -15. Whoa. No. This one, we want 15. This one, we want -15. And go faces, rotate around. On this face here, and do an extrude. One. On this one, do an extrude by 1. Both of those should be fairly good. I want this face. Break out the top one. I do. We want Alt. Do this face. Go Alt. This. Still doing Alt. This face. Shift. This face. Go up by 1. Let's go ahead and do a move. Let's go verts again. 1, there we go. These, that is the Z. Two, 1. Oh, wrong thing. 1. Want these. So we got that. back to this view. Let's actually do this. There we go. And I'm going to go edges. These edges. Go here, and let's see. We were doing 13. We did 13. Let's go here. Let's do 16, I believe it would be. Or no, 26. Yeah. And we want this way. And that is, I think, 26. We don't want 26. We want 24, I believe. 24 is right. Perfect. So there's that model. We just doubled up on it. Now I want to go here. I want to click select. I want solid frame. We can turn the numbers off now. Make things a lot easier for us. We're going to UV map this. I'm going to click here. We'll hold Alt, click in, right click, mark seam, pull up. I want to click here, seam. Ooh, not the right one. Mark seam. I want this edge here. We're going to mark seam. This edge here. Mark seam. Now remember, in order to select those, I'm holding down the Alt key to get all that. Looking good there. So let's grab this edge, and now I'm holding down the Shift key. Get these other edges. I'll hold down the Alt key also to get that whole entire line. We'll continue holding down Shift. These edges. Right click. Mark seam. Rotate it around. This edge. Edge. This edge. This edge. Alt. That. Alt. Or Shift. Alt. Not that seam. This seam. This edge. This edge. This edge. Right click. Mark seam. We have a nice, lovely, fully set up. We're going to go to Faces. We're going to hit A to select all. We're going to go to UV map. UV map unwrap. Once again, we're going to go here. We want to change this number to 0.2. Enter. And we want to minimize. Then we want to go to UV edit. You notice it's changed things up a bit. But what I'm going to do, let's first move this part here. We're going to move that up to here. We're going to take this part here, move it over to here. So move it down here like so. Now rotate it around. That, let's zoom in. We'll make sure, yeah, we're not. Looks good. Click on select. Take all of these. I want to do a rotation. Let's hit in. No. Let's here rotate this around. So let's zoom in a little bit more. Looks off. That looks good. Let's go move. We'll move these up to about there. This. Rotate. Oops. Control Z. There we go. Like that. This. And go like this. And go like that. Let's take this here. So just move it more over like that. Yeah, there's a lot of black space and stuff like that. In fact, actually what we could do, move this up to there. Scoot it over just a hair more. That. So this is our green. This is the wood. These are the ends. All good there. So we got that all done, right? But there's one other thing I'm going to do while I'm doing this. I want to create that end piece. That end piece that needs to go right here while we're doing this, because we need that for the very beginning of the course and some other areas. So once we got this done, I want to go ahead and go back to modeling. I want to go file, save as, call this floor 2. We're going to click. We already have a floor 2 one. We're going to override that floor 2. Then we're going to go file, export. We want this as an FBX. We're going to do floor 2 FBX. Yep. Okay. And then in here, and look for, where is it? Geometry. I want to change this to faces. We want to take this. We don't have any bones, so we don't need to worry about bones. Don't have any animations. We're going to do that. And click that. So that's all done. Now, let's go ahead and do some other up here. Let's take this. this happens if I click this. No. Actually, what we could do. Just do this so we get all of it. Actually, I got a better way of doing this. I'm gonna hit 3. We're gonna go wire. We're gonna go here. Oh, it didn't go wired. Okay. Do this. All of this. We're gonna go ahead and go. Actually, let's select all of this. We're gonna go ahead and go delete. You want faces. Let's go into verts. Make sure that we don't have any floating verts, no floating edges. Okay, we're good there. We're gonna go faces. We're gonna go solid. And we want to get rid of no. Click that one. Go here, here. We have to do this manually. Actually, no, we don't. Go like this. Come out like that. Go back to this. Go 3. There we go. That's what we need. I'm going to take this whole entire section right there. Those faces. Rotate around, make sure that we got them all. We got them all. We're going to go ahead and go delete faces. Back into solid mode. And you notice we have a gap here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. Want edges here, shift F here, shift. Nope, I hit Alt instead. Let's go F, F, F. I could actually leave that undone, actually. Should I leave that undone? I'd have to be very precise in my placement, placing it down, though, if I left it undone. What do you think, Savvy?
Alright, so catching up over on your side here. So you're basically going through, getting rid of all the faces on the bottom of that?
Yeah, no, I'm adding in faces on the bottom of that. And there's some pluses and minuses to this. The plus is less faces. So if it's not shown, it won't be rendered. However, if I don't get the height right, it could be floating in the air and then you're seeing a gap.
Well, let me just say this. Spiral course piece. Do you want to be able to do that? If so, you need to be able to look at the bottom of this and not have it go weird.
Damn you and your logic.
Yeah, you get more possibilities by having a more complete model.
Yep.
And that's the big difference between 3D modeling and for kind of just 3D art versus 3D modeling for games.
Yep.
For games, you really need to be able to look at something from every angle, because every limitation you put in is one more limitation that the level designers have to abide by.
Yep.
So you want, and considering you are the level designer here, You really don't want to restrict yourself more than you absolutely have to.
Well, what was it that the 3D modeling instructor said in class when working on commercial stuff for commercials, movies, and TVs? There were certain parts of the models that just looked terribly nasty because no one ever saw that part of the model in the scenes.
Yep, yeah, just put it on the back of it. Doesn't matter what happens over there because it's never rendered.
Exactly. Whereas in video games, no matter what angle, it's a good chance that it's going to be rendered, so you have to cover up for every situation.
And kind of like costume design for a movie versus costume design for a theme park.
Yeah.
Because effectively that's the difference on here. Because I saw an article like the other day where back on Star Trek Next Generation's First Contact movie, when they had a very brief sequence where Picard had a flashback to when he got converted into Locutus, and they didn't want to just use the same image, the same footage from it on there, because graphic quality between what's shown on standard TV at the time versus what's expected to be shown in a theater, you need the higher detail stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have the budget or the time to go all out on a new costume, so they did have to recycle the old costume, just add some new bits to it. But as a result, they couldn't actually close it all the way in the back, which is why you only see him from that one angle for all of the 5 seconds that he's visible for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Do what you can with what you've got, especially when you're in the real physical effects with shooting a movie or shooting a show. You've got really tight budget constraints. You've got really tight time constraints. There's always going to be more attention wanting to go somewhere else on it there. So you got to make do. Games, you still have those constraints, but you can't get away with quite as much. You can get away with some stuff, but the more thorough a job you can do, the better the overall product is definitely going to be, because there will be someone that will find the edge case. That was our jobs, was finding those edge cases and making sure a player couldn't. Or at least if they could, that wasn't that bad. Oh, and when you're done with that, I got the camera working.
Of course you did. Wait a second. I thought this was going to take a lot more research to get done.
So did I. Turned out to be very simple. It was just the whole context-sensitive help option on there. Turn it off. Yes, it limits what you're showing, but a lot of times it will hide what you actually need.
So what do I need to do?
All right. So let me get out of my little testing thing there. Get this brought back up. All right, so first let's confirm. All right, you've got the camera object is a child of the shooter itself, correct?
I believe
I get
so.
the camera component is on it.
So there's that, yep.
All right. Yep, yeah, it's looking right down there, so we're good on that. And you have it saved so that it's part of the blueprint. So it actually registers that, yes, the camera exists on there.
Let me double check. Go here. We got the shooter.
Yeah, that's a static mesh. Won't do anything there.
Okay, so let's close this out then. So we're talking going into the blueprint, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's the shooter.
Okay, and you do have shooter camera on your components on the left, so we're good there.
Okay.
All right, so I see just below where you've got class defaults lit up. You see where you have 3 tabs: viewport, construction script, and then event graph.
Hold on.
Yeah, the line immediately below. Yeah, that one there.
Yeah.
All right, go one to the right.
One to the right.
Yep, construction script.
Okay.
So this is just something that's a little bit easier to do it in here, just to make sure that gets done right at the start. So go ahead, right click.
Okay.
You're looking for find camera component it just started narrowing down. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
So we want to set find camera component when view target.
So the set one.
Yep. All right. So see that little checkbox? Just, yeah, it's pretty faint. It doesn't stand out very well.
Yep.
All right. And link the script in so it'll actually run that command.
Oh, like that.
Yep. Yeah. So now basically what this does is it says whenever any script anywhere tells something that this is going to be your view target, just don't go for the object itself, go for its camera, which is what we want.
Mhm.
So go ahead, hit compile save.
Compile.
Yep, hit save, just so that we've got that in there.
Yep.
Now go back to your event graph. That's still on here. Yep.
Event graph. Okay.
All right, and we're going to want to build off of the game start or event begin play.
And begin. Okay,
Yeah,
so
where it goes
building
over
off
to
of
enable
here.
it. Yep. Okay, and you've already got the get player controller.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the part where it was hiding. So just go over a little to the right of enable input.
Okay.
Right click.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just to show the difference on it, type set view target. 3 words.
Okay.
So what we're looking for is not actually here at all. Now unclick context sensitive. A
Okay.
whole lot more stuff that was hiding in here. So now scroll down to where you see the player object, which is where we need to mess with everything. Set view target with blend. And something's bleeping all over the place. And you may have muted. Oh. Okay, so that is your system. Maybe. Something was not having a good time there. All right, so I guess those were Discord sounds that were playing on my side, but we lost a good chunk there. Just slowed me down by a bit. Broadcast is still going. And I can hear myself over on the stream, but I'm not hearing you if you're saying anything.
Okay, I found out what was wrong.
Okay.
For some reason, with everything going on, that with my computer sort of lagging there, it automatically muted my mic.
Ah.
Okay. So let's right click again.
Yeah. So set view target with
Set
blend.
View target. And we want with blend.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna have to move some stuff around here.
Yeah.
Give me a moment. Let's take all this down like so. Take this, move it down like so. This, nope. That where it was.
Yeah, you don't need to build any further off to the right to set view target, so that
Yeah.
gives you
Okay.
enough space.
So that gives us enough space. So connect this to this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So now the target you're actually going to drag out from get player controller.
So drag out from here to target.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Now where it says new view target, drag that to the left and I get down in that little gap you've got here.
So like this.
Yep. Now just scroll all the way to the very bottom.
Don't even type anything. Just scroll to the bottom. Okay.
Okay. Maybe it's not there. So go ahead and type in self. Okay. Now look at the bottom. There you go. Get a reference to self.
Okay.
So now that'll tell it. All right. So after you start grabbing input from the player controller, tell the player controller that your camera is now going to be based off of this, the shooter itself.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did earlier will tell it, okay, when you're basing a camera off of this object, point it to the camera component. And now just compile, save.
Pile. Save. And we run.
Yep.
Ooh, I want to move the camera back some. We're going to stop. Okay, I think I moved back. How do I move back the camera itself?
All right. So over in your details pane on the right.
Yep, details.
Yeah, middle
Find
section
the
here.
camera.
Yep.
There we go. And now I can just pull this back some.
Yep. And you got your little preview there so you can actually see it.
Yep. So let's try play again. That's perfect.
Yep. Now click inside and there you go. Now this won't do any of the tricks that we had with the chase camera back in Unity where like if you were brushing up against a wall, it would compress it.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, it's just, right now it's just going to click right through it.
Yeah.
There may be some ways to go ahead and get like
later.
a spring object on it, but that's higher end stuff for now.
Yes, and like I said, we'll work on it later. What I really like is now we have a fully, it's like if I shoot here, we got that. So I think the next thing we should work on, now that we got the shooter, the camera, the rotation all fixed, am I right that the next thing we should work on is impulse?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's also just about 8, so
yeah, we're calling it here.
Mm-hmm. This is some good progress compared to last time. We made some
killer progress. I mean, heck, my thought was that we would get rotation in, maybe camera. We got some of a course in now. This is looking good.
Yeah, it's actually starting to look like a game.
Yeah, so what I want to do now, I want to go to select mode, landscape. We got the spline. Oh, I need to bring in, go here. Assets. I want to do one last thing while we're here. Bring this in. Flippers field. I want to bring in that new model. That floor 2 FBX.
And you just dox yourself again, but oh well. At this point, you've shared enough stuff that I think everyone's got your name anyway.
Yeah.
But officially, you're still controlled chaos.
Okay, so we got that in there. And now what I want to do is I want Alt. Okay, no, Control click. Got that there. And we're going to Alt, drag that out to there. Click on this. Add an event. Do that. Click here. We want floor 2. let's move the whole entire thing up. Go to move. This up here. Actually, hold on. Undo that. Nope. Okay. Up. So this up. So I did that to the wrong direction. See?
Ah.
So I'm gonna have to redo that model. Actually, no. We do that there. Let's that way, and let's this. Alt. Let's go that direction. Now we click on this. Where is it? There it is. On this. Yep. Okay, I know what to do.
Cool.
I can fit that. That is an easy fix to do. I'm just gonna have to redo the whole entire model to to fix that. But I can get that fixed. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete that. Come on, click here. This, delete that. I want this, delete that. I want to save what we got going on here. And so next thing is to add impulse, be able to adjust impulse. And while you're looking at how to do that code wise, I'm going to look at how to do the horizontal slider for the UI interface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got something we can actually use rather than just whatever we can scrounge out out of the default assets.
Yep. Well, I know how to add in the custom graphics for it. The problem is they have horizontal sliders. I need a vertical slider.
Mm.
So I'm going to do a little bit of UI research on that, see if they have some kind of way of doing horizontal sliders. And then we'll be good there. Because, I mean, we already have the textures for it and everything like that. Just slap all those textures in, boom, done.
Nice.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm redoing the textures for, like, the shooter, the shooter's placeholder texture anyways, but, like, the actual course pieces, I need to redo those textures anyways. And especially with how I'm doing this one, I, really sort of need to modify that, but we're going to get nicer curves and stuff like that in this whole entire thing.
Yeah, at the very least, you need to toss a checkerboard onto that so you can see how it actually warps the thing when it's putting it through here.
Yeah.
Because that may that knowing that ahead of time may let you know what you need to do texture-wise.
Mm-hmm. Well, with it being wood and all, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So, and there shouldn't be that much warping. Especially with the 21 that I have, that I'm looking at doing. Or the 26 one is what I'm going to call it. Because there's the 13 one, and then there's the 26 one. One that we have in right now is the 13 one. Which still looks decent, but I would like to do a little bit more tighter turns, which is why I'm looking at doing the 26 one.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I want to thank you guys all for watching and have a great night.
Night, everyone.